Hi, I'm Stan.
I'm Mike, and we're the designers of CETIi, Planetary Crisis, and the co-founders of Outer Limit Games. And today we're going to show you how to play CETIi. We're going to be playing a two-player game, and we're going to try to go over most of the mechanics and different strategies and things that you can do in the game. And hopefully we'll explain everything to you. But if you have any questions after the video, please feel free to email us directly at info@outerlimitgames.com, or you can find us on Twitter, Facebook. We look forward to showing you the game today, so let's get started. Alright, so the object of the game is to earn the most galactic points, and there's various ways you can earn galactic points in the game. One of the main ways is through explorations. You build orbitals. You'll see the sector tiles have like little galactic point icons there. Let's see, there's a 1 on the planet there. Planets have 1. Non-planetary sectors usually have 2 or 3, which you would build orbitals. So getting orbitals on the sectors and then getting resource cubes on your planetary sectors earn you points at the end of the game. Also, accumulating wealth, lots of tau. You'll see in our interface here, plus 20, plus 30, plus 40, you earn tau for that. Also, on your materials track there, if you have high materials at the end of the game, and also energy. You have high energy, you can earn points for that at the end of the game. And crisis cards and specialist cards, you earn points for at the end of the game. And then finally, for resolving crisis, you also earn points, and they'll be in the form of these little tokens here, galactic point tokens. You get a 3, and then you'll see there's a 1 in there. Those are awarded when you win a battle. So several different ways you can earn points. But anyways, we're going to go over player setup in just a moment. But first I want to talk about what is this over here. This is the Galactic Depot. This is basically where knowledge tokens, system upgrades are stored. And then we have our cards or decks there. We have the exploration, diplomacy, exotic tech, and interplanetary missions on the end there. And then our hex system in the center, and this is the Tau Ceti exchange. And basically this is like a sort of like a galactic stock exchange where you have 6 different types of resources, and that's where you will manage the value of those resources throughout the game. Will go up on a level of 1 to 4, as you can see there. And then we have the specialist deck, the crisis deck on either side, the enlightenment bag where your resource cubes will go. And that's pretty much it for that. We'll start explaining the setup of the game now. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the game setup. We've got a 2-player game right here. So as you can see, we've got our player board for Commander Borzon and Dr. Krinji across the other side of the board. Our hex system in the center. And we have all the large hex sector tiles set up. So what we did is we start with Tau Ceti in the middle, and you can place the large sector tiles around that any way you like. Usually we'll take turns. One player will place a tile at a time until they're all connected. And then we'll put our outer limit tiles, the smaller ones, off to the side. And actually those should be flipped over. And these will have a nice little Tau Ceti emblem on them in the final game. Everything will be double-sided, double printed, all hex tiles and tokens. Alright, we have our Tau Ceti exchange over here with our cards, our crisis deck and specialist deck on either side. We have a round marker on round 1, our crisis tokens all stacked up, and this is the enlightenment bag. Since Commander Borzon and Dr. Krinji are playing purple and green, we put all 5 of their cubes in the bag, and the other 2 players, any non-players, will only have 2 cubes in the bag for the game. Alright. And so over here, again, we have the Galactic Depot. We have our knowledge tokens right there, additional knowledge tokens, our system upgrade tokens, weapons, shields, computers, propulsion, cargo, and exotic tech. And then all your smaller cards, various cards you can set up right there. Okay, now for the hex system, what we did is we put a knowledge token basically on every exploration point. So you see there all the different points. We randomly put them face down in a pile, and then we put knowledge token on every one of those points. And then we took 6 leftover knowledge tokens and we put them next to the outer limit tiles. For when we explore those tiles later in the game, you'll put a knowledge token on there so that can be explored. And then the remaining 5 will go in the Galactic Depot. Alright, and finally we have our player setup. And basically we have our player resources right here, here, and there. That is your tile on the left, your materials in the center, and your energy on the right. That's all set up and ready to go. And your starting stats for your player resources are on the back of each alien character card there. And then we have this is our battle token, claim token, and on your planet, we put our orbitals. So each planet, each player will have 4 orbitals on their planet. So Dr. Cringy has 4, Commander Borzon has 4, and then your starship starts on your planet as well. Alright, so the first player to start the game in the first action phase is the player who most recently watched a sci-fi movie.
That was me.
Okay, that was my dad. Alright, so...
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, his favorite movie. Alright, so he puts his card in the stand, standing up, letting players know that he's the first player of this round. And that will rotate to the player to the left at the beginning of each consecutive round. Alright, so my dad will go ahead and take his first action.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look around me to see what's going on around me. And I see there's a sector here that has explorations on it. And I would like to move there. So I'm going to take a movement action first of all. Put the action marker there. And it says 1 energy loss. So I'll go here and move it down 1. I'll move over here. And because I'm moving in a sector that has asteroids, I have to roll for asteroids. So I'm going to roll the dice. A 3.
3, alright.
So now a 3. And when you're moving the asteroids, you have to subtract the number you get from your shields, which is a 1, which means I get 2 damage to my shields, which is not good. But I can always repair those later.
Alright, and if he was moving through cosmic energy, he would subtract his die roll from his computers. So asteroids are always shields, cosmic energy are always computers. If you roll a 5 or a 6, you're safe. 1 through 4, you have to subtract that from your power in that system. Alright, so that was a movement action into the asteroids. And when he moved, his propulsion, we see, is 2. He can move up to 2 sectors at a time, but you can also move less. You don't have to move that amount of sectors. Alright, so that's a movement action. And now I'm going to take my action. Okay, so I'm also going to take a movement. Alright, so I'll put my marker, my action marker there, and we see it's -1 energy. Little arrow points down, so I move my energy down 1, and I'm going to move right here, and I'm going to go, let's see, right here, right next door there. And that sector, that's a good one to explore. There's no anomaly or anything I have to worry about, and there's lots of exploration points. Alright, so that was my action.
Okay, my next action I'll do is explore, and I lose 1 energy once again by doing that. And by doing that now I can explore any of these tokens on this entire sector. So I'm going to pick this one right here, turn it over, and you see it's a cosmic symbol, so therefore it means a cosmic exploration. So what I'm going to do is come over here in this deck and find a cosmic card to match it. I used to try to find the very first one.
And if you have a lot of table space, you can lay each deck out, like cosmic, chemical, biohazard, etc., in their own deck. That way you can easily choose them.
This one basically says you have found the remnants of a possible biological hazard on an asteroid, which could pose a serious threat to all life in Tau Ceti. Use your science skills to test the agent.
Alright, so basically we all have skill sets. We all have a comparative advantage, each alien race, which would be a 4, and then you have a secondary skill set, which would be a 3. So we see science is 4 for Dr. Cringy and logistics is 3. All other skill sets are going to be a 2 for Dr. Cringy. Alright, so this exploration requires science, which he has a 4 in, so he gets to roll 4 dice. Alright, he did not get it, unfortunately. You needed 5 or a 6, so he has a 4, 4, a 2, and a 3. Now he can spend 2 Tau to do a reroll, but he must use the reroll. This is a minor action. Alright, so he's going to spend 2 Tau, reroll that skill check, and bingo, he got it. 2 6s there, so that's a victory. So he gets the knowledge token, and he also gets, if the total result is a 9 through 16, which it definitely was, we see 12 plus 2 is 14 plus 4 is 18. All right, so he definitely got the 9 through 16, and so he also gets +1 energy and the knowledge token. So he keeps that knowledge token, and now he can put his claim token on top of the other token right there on that route, since it's connected. And that basically lets other players know that they cannot explore that point. He's sort of claimed it, and he can explore that again on his next turn. All right. Okay, I'm also going to explore, and we got it right there, -1 energy, and come over here. I'll just select a random one, and I have Cosmic. All right, so that will select a card for me. Cosmic Knowledge. All right, good. Let's see what we have here. All right, so use your science skills. Okay, so I'm going to use my science as well. I see here I have industry and a 4, and I'm sorry, military is a 4 and industry is a 3. I don't have science, so my skill set in science is 2. So I roll 2 dice. 2 and a 6. I got a 6. Okay, again, a 5 or 6 is victory. I did not get the 9 through 16, but I got the 5 or a 6, so I get the knowledge token. All right, I'm going to put that right next to my interface, and I also can put my claim token on top of that space right there. And now, actually, I just realized I have Zunari algae, and you can spend 1 Zunari algae to explore a second point in an exploration route and the same exploration action. So I don't need this claim token. I can actually go ahead and explore this second point, which I'm going to do is atmospheric. So we'll select an atmospheric knowledge card. Perfect. All right. Let's see what that one is. Technology. I need my technology skills to decode the symbols. All right. My technology, again, I don't have technology, so it's a 2. Roll 2 dice. I did not get it, so I'm going to take a minor action and do a reroll. And I'll spend 2 tau to do that. And I must use the reroll. I got it. 6. Okay, very good. So I didn't get the 9 through 12 or 9 through 16, but I did get the 5 or 6 there. The 6, so I get the knowledge. And I need to remember to spend my algae for that. All right. And now, since I've explored both points in a route, I get to take a cube out of the bag. All right. So my color is purple. And that goes right in between the route there. And basically, this is saying that I can now build an orbital in that, or on that route, which will earn me points at the end of the game. All right. So that was an exploration action, and I actually accomplished quite a lot with that one action.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and explore again because I have another possible exploration I can get there. So I lose energy by 1. Take my token off, and I see it's a geophysical exploration. So I'm going to go to geophysical card. You have to take the first card you come to that's geophysical, and that's the one right there. Flip it over, and it says use my industry skills to uncover the artifact. If you want to read the flavor text, you're welcome to do that during each of these explorations to make it more fun. But usually mine, I do not have industry. I have science and logistics, which means I have to roll 2, a skill set of 2. See if I'm successful here, which I was.
Okay, very good.
So I have a 5 there, which means I'm successful.
Gets the knowledge token, and also gets to take a cube out of the bag now.
This actually helps decrease the opportunity or chance of getting your cube drawn out and get a crisis occur on your planet too. So it actually helps 2 ways. There you go.
Perfect. All right, now he can build an orbital there on his next turn. But keep in mind, every time you build an orbital, your materials marker moves to the left, and you see the cost down there below that track. Those are your recruit costs. So that actually gets more expensive as you build. So a lot of people will like to wait later in the game before they start building. All right, so now I'm going to recruit. All right, so I'll place my action marker there. You see it doesn't cost me any energy, but I do have to pay the recruit cost, which is the cost right below your materials marker, which we see is 3 tau. So 1, 2, 3. All right, and I take 1 crisis and 1 specialist card on the top of the deck. All right, let's see what I have. There we go. So I have a biohazard specialist, which is actually a microbiologist, and a nuclear crisis. And again, these cards would normally be face down. You don't want to reveal them to the other players. All right. And again, this is one of the main ways you're going to get energy in the game. You can take a refuel action, which gets you an automatic 2 energy, but you have to use your action marker to do that. So playing a crisis or specialist card gets you 2 energy per card during the enlightenment phase. So you just definitely want to keep track of your energy. It can go down pretty quick if you don't watch it. And the same thing with your tau over here, your money. All right, so that was a recruit action.
Okay, right now I'm going to do is recruit. And by recruiting, I have a special thing. Because I have telepathic generators, I can use one of those and actually recruit 2 specialists. So I can come over here and get the top of the crisis, and now have 2 specialists as part of the benefit of having a telepathic generator.
And then of course you'll pay your 3 tau. Right below your materials marker there.
Which is right below this here. Yep. Okay.
All right. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and build. Normally I like to wait later in the game to do building because, again, your materials marker moves to the left and your recruit cost will rise as a result of that. But I just want to show you guys the action so you get an idea of how it works. So build, and we'll see there a little triangle and the -1. That means my materials marker moves 1 to the left. All right. So now I have to pay 2 times my material cost, 2 times 3, which is 6. That actually cost me 6 tau. All right, so 6 tau, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and now I take my resource cube, put that on my planet, and the orbital goes there. So basically that orbital is now producing that resource on my planet, which is a military resource. All right, so that is basically a build action. Now at the end of the game, if I can retain this orbital, you'll see I'll get 2 galactic points per orbital in that sector, and I also get 1 galactic point for a resource cube on my planet. So I definitely want to try to retain that. Now, if I get a crisis on my planet that affects military, I would lose this resource cube. And the same goes if somebody tries to battle me or tries to attack my orbital, I could potentially lose that as well. So you'll want to protect that. Now, when it comes to battle, we won't do a battle right now because nobody's initiated one, but I just want to explain that your orbital defense is basically dependent on how many orbitals you have built. So you can build up to 4 orbitals in the system. So let's say I had 3 orbitals built, then my orbital defense would be 3. But since I only have 1, my orbital defense is 1, and I would only get to roll 1 dice. We'll go over that in a minute when we actually initiate a battle. But I just wanted to run that by you guys real quick. All right, so that concludes the first action phase. All right, so before we start the next enlightenment phase, we'll go ahead and remove our action markers off our interface to refresh them for the next action phase when it comes around. And we always begin the enlightenment phase by clapping. I can't clap right now because I have the video in my hands. But anyways, we'll go ahead and start the action phase. And first we'll move the round marker up to the next round. All right, so now we're in round 2. Or, sorry, Cetian Cycle 2. Actually, Cetian Cycle is basically like a solar year in the star system. All right, so we'll select a cube, and we'll see if a planet is going to be affected. Green, Dr. Cringy again. Actually, it was Numara last time. All right, so we'll start the active deck. Take 1 card from each deck. And now anybody can play a card if they'd like. I'm not going to be affected, so maybe I want to play a crisis. Maybe I want to be malevolent. Let's see. Well, or it could be nice and try to prevent a crisis and play my microbiologist and prevent a possible biohazard. I think I'm going to be a bad guy and go ahead and play this crisis card. And again, you normally wouldn't tell everybody what you're playing now, but that's what I'm showing you guys.
Also going to raise your energy based on what you...
Exactly. So I raised my energy by 2 because I played 1 card.
Because I'm Dr. Cringy, I have the ability to actually raise mine by 3.
That's right. That's his one of his special abilities. All right. So now we can reveal the active deck. Let's see if we have a crisis. All right. So we have a nuclear crisis and we have a chemical, and neither of these prevent those crises. So we select the highest number. That one is a 10, and that one is a 20. So we have another nuclear crisis.
Oh my goodness.
That is affecting Dr. Cringy's planet.
Not good.
So we'll select a crisis token, and the cards that don't get used go back in the bottom of the decks. All right, so we have a military. This is affecting military. So military goes up 1 on the Tau City Exchange. All right, that is not good. And that kind of affects me, actually, because that's my comparative advantage. So everything that's associated with military is going to cost more now. All right, so that gives me more of an incentive to want to resolve that crisis. But then again, if I do so, I might be helping Dr. Cringy. So a lot of different strategies you can think about during this phase. So that concludes the second enlightenment phase, and we will begin the next action phase. All right, so at the beginning of the action phase, we change the demand on all the planets. So we take all 4 commodity tokens off, and we move their market levels down, back down 1 level.
The 2 there.
2 for algae.
Gold.
1 for gold.
And 1 for there.
All right.
There we go.
And then we take those and put those back in the demand pile, face down. We mix them all around, and we select 4 more. 4 new ones. And the demand changes. So we have algae, octo nanofluid,
And last but not
generators
least,
again, and gold. All right, so those go back up. Gold goes back up.
and,
Telepathic generators go back up. Diplomacy.
okay,
We have octo nanofluid goes up 1.
okay.
Logistics.
Oh, I'm sorry, logistics.
Yep, logistics. And also algae.
Algae, okay.
Science.
That 1. There
All
we
right,
go.
so that changes the demand at the beginning of the action phase. All right, so now the first player has rotated to me for this round. And I see here that my Tau is getting pretty low. I definitely need money, so first thing I'm going to do is take a minor action. I'm going to trade, I think I'll trade this atmospheric knowledge token for 5 Tau. Trading is a minor action, like I said. So I'm just going to take this and I'll put this in the Galactic Depot. And I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Tau from that. And I'm going to go a step further now, and I'll take my major action, major tactical action. Take an interplanetary mission to get even more money. It costs me 1 energy. And interplanetary missions basically give you money. So if you're getting low on money, you can do various things like roll a skill set or pick up and deliver commodities across the system for money. So you take the top 3 cards and you select one. All right, so I always like to look at the skill sets. We see technology in there, a science, and a military. Oh, that's interesting. I have military. That's my comparative advantage. So I think I will select that one. All right, the other 2 cards go back in the deck. All right, so you can read the flavor text if you like. It's always kind of fun. Use your military skills to help test the new weapon. All right, my military skills are a 4, so I get to roll 4 dice. I did not get that. No 5 or 6s, so I'm going to take another minor action and do a reroll for 2 Tau. All right, try again. I still did not get it. That's horrible, and you have to use your reroll. So I failed miserably with that interplanetary mission. That goes back in the deck, and that was a wasted action.
Okay, now it's my turn again. I'm looking out here and I realize I have an opportunity to resolve a crisis. I have the specialist for nuclear specialist. I also have the special knowledge token, which gives me the opportunity to match the two together, and I can resolve any nuclear crisis on the board. It just happens there's one right here on my planet, which naturally I'd like to get rid of. So I can technically resolve that crisis right now and remove it. And when I do that, I put this token back.
And he retains the crisis token.
I retain the crisis token.
And the specialist goes back in the specialist deck, and we see that was affecting military. So military goes back down.
Okay.
All right, very good. And he gets 3 galactic points for that. So
there I go.
That is
That's a good
really
start.
Great way to earn points in the game if you can do it. So again, what he did was he matched a specialist with a knowledge token, a nuclear specialist and a nuclear knowledge token to resolve that nuclear crisis. And you can also resolve a crisis by matching 3 of the same knowledge tokens. So if he had 3 nuclear knowledge tokens, he also could have resolved it. Now remember, you can trade. Trading is a minor action. He could have traded 2 for 1 knowledge token. So if he had, these 2 right here, and he didn't have a nuclear, he could look in the galactic depot, find a nuclear.
If there's one there.
If there was one there, trade him 2 to 1, and he could have resolved it that way as well. All right, so now you've got a major tactical action to take.
Okay, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to repair, because right now I have 2 damage in my defense system, and obviously it's really wiped out at this point. So what I'm going to do is repair. When I repair, put the token right there. That's my first one, and I lose 2 energy by doing so. But I also have to expend 4 towels. 2 when I'm in space, not on a planet, is twice as expensive. So for every damage marker, I have to take 2 tau away. So I have 2, so therefore it's 4 tau. Back down to 7 now.
All right, takes a little plus marker off, and I'm not sure if we explained, but the little plus markers are basically for 10, 20, 30, 40 tau. So you can have up to 49 tau and also up to 49 energy in the game. All right, so that was a repair action. All right, so I'm going to do a movement. And I'm out here in this sector here, but I can jump out here and place an outer limit tile. So that's what I'm going to do. First, I'll get my action marker right there, expend the energy, down 1, and I will select the top outer limit tile and place it anywhere connecting to that sector right there. And I have to also take knowledge token, go ahead and place that right there, and I will go ahead and jump. That's my movement into cosmic energy. So I have to roll a dice. 1 die. All right. 6, I'm safe. 5 or 6 are safe. If I had rolled a 1 through a 4, I would subtract it from my computer power and possibly incur damage. But that is safe. And again, that was jumping out of the sector and placing an outer limit tile.
Okay, my next action is going to be a refuel, because right now I'm getting low on energy and I really need to get some more energy, and I'm not near a planet. So what I'm going to do is take a refuel action, and by doing so, that gives me an extra 2 energy. It gives me kind of a fail safe to go back up to 3. I can do this as many times during my turn as I want, as long as I'm using action mark each time I do it. So you don't want to waste them, but sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah, if you don't have any crisis or specialist cards to play during the enlightenment phase, then you will run low on energy eventually. So that's why you sort of need to recruit every once in a while. All right, so I see now that I can explore this point in the cosmic energy, and I also see this sector is connected to this sector where I have an orbital, or basically economic influence. If I have a resource cube or an orbital in that sector, it means I have economic influence, and I can then expand my economic influence to any sector that's connected, all right, if I successfully explore it. So typically you'd have to explore both points on the route on a larger sector to get that economic influence, the resource cube or orbital. But in this case, we just see 1 exploration point. But if I explore that successfully, then I can place a resource cube there and eventually build an orbital there as well, since it is connected to a sector that I already have an orbital in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and explore that sector. That cost me 1 energy. All right, and we'll see what we have here. We have nuclear. All right. So select the nuclear knowledge card. There it is. All right. I have found an ancient journal containing nuclear shipments to a mysterious location. Do they contain logistics data to a future nuclear crisis? Use your logistics skills to determine the answer. All right, so do I have logistics? No, I do not. All right, so I get to roll 2 dice. I have a skill set of 2 in logistics. Ah, 6. That's what I needed. All right, so I get the knowledge token. Put that right there. And now I also get to take a cube out of the bag because I can expand my economic influence to that sector. All right. So now I can build an orbital there on my next turn if I'd like. All right. And I will note that typically the outer limit sectors are worth more points. Most of them are worth 3 points, whereas the larger ones are 2 points per orbital and sector. So those are definitely beneficial to try to go for and capture before other players get them. All right. So that was expanding economic influence.
Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a buy and sell action. I'm going to come over here and put on the token on there. And you notice I'm moving 1 energy down.
But since he is in space, it's going to be
Cost
double
2.
energy.
So I'm going to move it to
All right,
move
so
it down
it drops
2.
his energy by 2.
All right, now also I'm going to do is look over here.
Nanoprocessor.
Nanoprocessor. Now I'm going to buy 4.
Supply pile.
So I'm going to put it over here. That's the supply pile. I'm going to put it over here into 4, which means I'm going to have 4. And I take that and say 1 times the number for 4 times the level here, which is at 1. So it'll be 4 tau total. Okay.
So buying commodities is the quantity times the market level. All right, and luckily the market level was low. You want to buy when it's low and sell when it's high.
You wouldn't want to buy this. It's diplomacy.
All right, so I'm going to take an action to sell as my last action. That requires 2 energy. 1, 2. And I've got 1 Zunari algae that I can sell. But I see the market level for science is at 3. So I would get 3 tau for that. So I will take this. This will go back in the supply pile. And I get 1, 2, 3. Now I want to mention the concept of comparative advantage in the game. Let's say I had plasma, because that's military, and that's my primary specialization, or my comparative advantage. All right, so if I was selling plasma, then I would calculate it on the Tau Ceti exchange as 1 higher than military. So I would calculate it as a 2. All right. Now, if I was buying, it would actually be 1 lower. So let's just say it was at military is at 3. Then I would calculate that as a 2. So it's more advantageous when you have the comparative advantage in something. You basically get to buy it for cheaper and sell it for more.
Okay. My next move I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take an action to upgrade. In doing so, this shows you that you actually have to move the marker here, materials marker over 1. And I'm going to upgrade my computers, in this case, to a 4. So I come over here and I see I have a 4 available. So I put that on the system. Then I have to pay 4 times whatever the market level is over here.
So we see the associated resource is technology for computers. So
Yep.
on the market level is 1, so it would be 1 times 4. But he has 4 nanoprocessors, which are associated with technology. So he can actually spend, for every nanoprocessor he spends, he can deduct 1 tau from the cost of that upgrade. So,
which I will do.
yep, he'll literally spend all 4 and get the upgrade for free.
That's a good deal.
Very good deal. And every time you upgrade, again, note that your materials marker moves 1 to the right, so that actually decreases your recruit cost. So upgrading the materials kind of move that marker back and forth. So a lot of people will want to recruit, or upgrade early on and then build later on. But there are other various reasons which you would not want to build early on.
Right.
Or upgrade on, vice versa. All right, now it's time for the next enlightenment phase. All right, so we'll move the round marker up to round 3. Select a cube out of the bag. What is that?
It's purple.
Oh,
It's
purple.
you.
All right.
How about that, huh?
Fantastic.
What can you say?
Purple. Okay, so my planet will be affected. And again, the more cubes you get out of the bag when you explore, the less your chances are of being affected by a crisis. All right, so I will be affected. We'll go ahead and start the active deck. And all I have is one specialist that I can play. So I'm definitely going to play that card because I want to try to prevent a possible crisis if one happens. So I'll put that in the deck, and I +2 energy. All right. Keep my fingers crossed here.
Unfortunately, it looks like we have a crisis.
Well, look at that. Well, we see that the biohazard is prevented because I have that biohazard specialist that I just
These two
played
together.
prevented that biohazard crisis. Thank goodness. But we have a cosmic crisis, which didn't get prevented, so
Right.
we will initiate that cosmic crisis on my planet. And now, I'm not a happy camper. All right, so we see it's affecting technology. So there's my planet. Technology goes up 1 level.
Okay.
All right, and that is that. Now, at the end of the game, there's an advanced rule. We're not playing any advanced rules in this game, by the way. But if you do have a crisis on your planet at the end of the game, it's -1 point for each crisis in one of those advanced rules. All right, so. And also, when you travel to a planet that has a crisis, or you travel through a planet with a crisis, you incur 1 damage. And that damage can be applied to any one of your systems of your choice. That's another rule that you need to just keep in mind when you're traveling around. All right, so that was the enlightenment phase. Now we begin the next action phase, and we will change the demand once again on the planets before we start the action phase. So we'll take all the commodity tokens up, and we'll move the market levels back down. So
It goes down 1, and then logistics goes down 1.
all right, so now those go back in the demand pile, mixed around, and we take new commodity tokens out. Octo nanofluid. And we have gold, algae, and telepathic generators, and those levels go back up.
And let's see. Oh. Science up.
Octo nanofluid
Okay. So this.
and logistics.
And logistics. Okay, there we go.
All right, so demand changes, and now we're ready for the next action phase.
Okay, my first move is going to be probably have to move from here and move back to a planet. I want to go back to my planet, so I'm going to move, and by doing so, I lose 1 energy. Now, I can actually move as much as 2 places, but I'm just going to move the 1 space back to my planet here. And that's my action.
All right, so I'm looking here. I see I have a nuclear knowledge token, a cosmic knowledge token, and I see we also have a nuclear crisis and a cosmic crisis out in the system. I definitely love to resolve those if I could, so I'm going to recruit and hope that I get a nuclear scientist or a cosmic specialist. All right, so take a recruit action, and I pay my cost, which is 3 tau. 1, 2, 3. All right, and I'll take 1 of each. There we go. All right, so I have a geophysical crisis, and I have an advanced specialist. Okay, now these are part of the Kickstarter promo pack, which will start out with 18 of these, and they each have a unique ability. They're focused on trade, military, and science. This one is focused on trade, so basically upon delivery I can earn a bonus +2 tau for all pickup and deliver interplanetary missions, and I also increase my skill set of industry on all skill checks. So that's a very good advantage. Now for advanced specialists, basically to play those cards and utilize their abilities, you lay them face up. Okay, so As long as they're face up, you can use their special ability, and you can use that ability over and over for the duration of the game, as long as you retain that specialist. All right, so that was actually pretty good. I may end up using that one later on. So that was my recruit action.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do an interplanetary mission. I'm losing 3 energy by doing so, but I'm trying to get some Tau. And that's the only way to do that right this minute. I don't have any cards to play. Take the top 3 cards off. I'm going to decide which of the 3 I want to use. Let's see, right now I have quite a few different opportunities here. You can use military skills, and I could use, for instance, I could go deliver something to zero on asteroid. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and announce this here using my military skills. It says you have volunteered to take part in the development of the cyborg flux initiator weapon. Now it says announce ABCFIW, initiate. Use your military skills to initiate. Well, I don't have any military skills as far as comparative advantage, but I'm going to do is roll 2. That would be a 2. Now, of course, I didn't get it.
Oh, that's nice.
So I'm going to do is try one more time by lowering my Tau by 2 and hope some praise I get. Which I did.
Good. That was worth
Thank
it.
goodness.
Most of the time, the reroll is worth it, but once in a while, you get a.
And of course, that's worth 4 Tau.
Yeah, okay, so 4 Tau. Very good.
Okay.
And that one gets discarded, and the other 2 cards go back in the bottom of the interplanetary mission deck for that.
Okay.
All right, so since military is actually pretty low on the market right now, anything associated with military is going to be pretty cheap. So I think I will upgrade my weapons. I see weapons are associated with military, so I will go to a 4. I already have pretty strong weapons, but I want to be the strongest in the system. So I'm going to take the gamma ray. All right. So I'll take the upgrade. I should have put the marker on there first. And move my material markers 1 to the right. Okay. And I need to pay the cost, which is 4, the quantity 4, or the power of the system, times the market level, which is 1 right now. So that cost me 4 Tau. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I had plasma in here, which is associated with military, I could spend every plasma I spent, I could reduce my cost by 1 Tau. All right, so that was a weapons upgrade. All right, and also you'll notice on the very end of your materials track is a little hexagon. Basically, that represents your exotic technology. You get a free exotic technology once your materials marker reaches that point. So you do need to do quite a few upgrades. Usually, typically about 4 upgrades. You can get an exotic tech upgrade. And they're over here. We have the tokens, and we also have the cards, which go with them that basically explain what they do. Tachyonic anti-telephone, time warp, teleportation, and starlifter. They each do really interesting, neat things that you can use for the duration of the game once you obtain them. And again, they are free, sort of a bonus once your materials marker reaches that rightmost space on the materials track.
Okay, I'm going to take a move action this time. What I want to do is I want to move over to this sector over here where Mike has an orbital. So to do that, I'm going to put a move token there, and I'll move down 1 energy. I can move 2 tiles at one time, but I can't go through a tile setting, but I can go across this planet, but it's got a crisis. So when I move across this planet, I have to take a damage. Which I'm going to take a damage and put on this system right here, my exotic technology lab, and put a battle token down. Right here.
So he's going to try to attempt to destroy my orbital.
Yes,
Let's see how
I am.
that fares out. All right, so now we see the Xenon Abductor, is what this little UFO is called. Dr. Cringy, he is in my sector trying to destroy my orbital. All right, and now since my starship is not in that sector, this is going to be an orbital defense battle. If my ship was in the sector, this would automatically be a starship battle, all right? But it's not, so this will be an orbital defense, and now I immediately can roll my orbital defense to try to avert that attack. All right, now since I only have 1 orbital built and in the star system, my other 3 orbitals are on my planet. They haven't been built yet. So I have 1 orbital. That means my orbital defense is a 1. So I roll 1 dice. All right, let's see what happens. 5. I averted the attack. a 5 or a 6 is always victory, so I averted the attack. If I had had a 1 through 4, he would have destroyed my orbital. Alright, so I got a 5, and also he takes 1 damage to his cargo. The reason being the 5 is representative of his cargo system, which is number 5. If I had rolled a 6, he would have taken a damage to his exotic tech or lab. Alright, so again, that was an orbital defense, and I had successfully saved my orbital from being destroyed. Alright, so since nothing happened there, he's going to go ahead and remove his battle token, and I'm going to take my action. So I'm going to take a movement action. It cost me 1 energy, and I'm pretty angry now about that orbital being potentially attacked, so I'm going to move into this sector, and I'm going to lay down my battle token.
Oh no.
I'm going to initiate a starship battle. This is a starship battle because this is my orbital in the sector, and I'm initiating the battle. I'm obviously not trying to destroy my orbital. So I'm initiating a battle with Dr. Cringy here. This is going to be a starship battle. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to assign our shields. All right. So I see here I have a shield power of 1, so I get to place 1 shield marker. I want to place it on my most vulnerable systems, and it looks like shields are probably the most vulnerable. I want to keep those protected, so I put my marker, shield marker right there. Dr. Cringy is going to
Do the same thing.
okay, also for his shields. All right, so I'm the initiator. I get to take the first attack. So basically, look at my weapons power. I have a 4, so that means I can roll 4 dice for my attack. So I'm going to roll an attack. All right, we have a 1, 3, 3, 3. Wow, that's pretty bad for Dr. Cringy. All right, so 1 did not get blocked, and the 3s did not get blocked. So he has a hit to his weapons and 3 hits to his computers. But before he takes those hits, he can roll a counter defense. Your counter defense is based on your computer power, so he gets to roll 4 dice since his computers are 4.
I'm glad I did that now.
Exactly. That
Roll
was
4
good as the
dice.
upgrade. All right, we have a 1, 4, 4, and a 6. Unfortunately, those 3s did not get blocked. The 1 got blocked. Okay.
So good there.
But he took 3
3
hits to
damage
his
here.
computers.
Wow.
Now, if he takes 1 more hits to his computer, that system is destroyed. The first player to destroy one of the other player's systems wins the battle automatically, if they can do it within 4 rounds. Okay, so a round of battle is each player takes an attack on each other. So now Dr. Cringy will take an attack on me and roll his weapons,
Weapon
which
power
is
of
2.
2.
So he rolls 2 dice.
3, 3.
3 and 3. All right, so what do we have here? I do not have my 3 computers protected by shields, so I will roll my counter defense as a last attempt to block
Those 2 3s.
So I have computer power of 2. My counter defense is 2 dice. I did not block the 3s. Okay, so I take 2 hits
Yeah, that means you did that
to my computers, and
Here you go.
look at that. That system is destroyed.
That's
He
what you
wins the
get for
battle.
trying to attack me.
Yes. So, since I was the initiator and he was the defender, he won the battle. So, here's how it would work. If I had won the battle, being the initiator, I would get to steal something from him. It would be either a knowledge token, crisis or specialist card, or any commodities that he's carrying. But since he was the defender and he won, he gets 1 galactic point token. So, right there, he gets that as a reward from the Tau Ceti Authority for defending himself against a
Mean old Mike.
yeah, mean old Mike, exactly. So that was that. I did not win that battle, and now I'll remove my battle token. And so now we've explained a starship battle and an orbital defense, and that is basically how that works.
Okay, first thing I'm going to do right now is remove the shield.
Battle's over, so we
That was
remove
all
our
cleaned up
shields,
and done, and I want it,
and
thank
he will
goodness.
continue taking his next action.
Okay, I'm going to take a build action next. By doing so, I move my materials marker to the left.
1 to the left and pay
And 3 times 2.
It's always 2 times whatever is below your materials marker. So
I'm going to take this and replace it with one of these orbitals here.
takes an orbital off this
And
planet.
it goes back to the planet. My
There
resource
we go.
cube.
Orbital goes out there. Resource cube goes on this planet, and he pays the 6 tau. All right, for that build action. All right, now I have 2 actions left. I definitely want to try to build this resource here into an orbital. All right, but first I need to get some money to pay for that build action. So I'm going to take an interplanetary mission. Try to get some money here. -1 energy. And we'll take the top 3 cards from the deck and select one. All right, what do we have here? Let's see. Lay this down that way we can see. All right. Have a test new defense shield, interstellar wormhole, or beta test. This one involves traveling to Xeron asteroid. This is a technology skill, and this is another travel and military. All right, so I think I'm just going to use this one, the interstellar wormhole. I'm going to try this one. You have chosen to offer assistance in gathering data on the discovery of a new wormhole just outside Tau Ceti. Use your technology skills to complete your report. All right, well, my technology, I do not have it, so it's a 2. I get to roll 2 dice. I got a 5. Okay, so I got that. And I get 5 tau from that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. And this gets discarded.
Okay, my last action here I'm going to do is sell the telepathic generator. And I can sell it for, this case,
Got 1, and the market level for diplomacy is at 3.
3,
So he
so
would
I
get
get
3
3
tau
tau.
for that.
So I'm going to do the 3 tau for that. Okay.
Not a big reward, but it's
But it
something.
helps.
He was getting pretty low on tau, so. And you'll take that commodity, and that goes back in the supply pile.
Okay.
All right, so for my last action, I'd like to turn this resource cube into an orbital, but I see that my money is kind of low. I don't think I quite have enough. So it's going to be 3 times 2. That would cost me 6 tau. But I do have some knowledge tokens that I can trade for a minor action. So I'm going to trade this one for 5 tau. That goes in there, and we're going to add 5 tau. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I put a plus sign there. Now I have 10 tau. That was a minor action. Now I can take my major tactical action and build. My materials marker goes 1 to the left, and it is 3 times 2, so that costs me 6 tau. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This goes back off, and now I take orbital off my planet right there, and this cube goes on my planet. I'm now producing that resource, and I basically will earn 4 points for that at the end of the game. 3 for the orbital there, and 1 for the resource cube on my planet. So that was a very beneficial action. All right, so we've gone ahead and skipped ahead 5 rounds. We've actually played the 5 rounds, and now we're at the end of the game. We're at the end of the 8th round. We played a short game. So we're going to go ahead and add up our points now. So I want to show you guys how that works. Everybody has a little victory condition card that you can look and see what your points are. So I'm going to start with mine. I've got my tau there, my plus marker, so I get 1 point for that. My tokens, I have a 1 and a 3. That's 4 plus 5. All right, I don't have any excess materials or energy. So I've got 5 there. Let's look at my cards now. Well, first let's look at my character. I get a point for each card that has just a regular galactic point symbol on it. You'll notice that some of these cards have a little dot above them. I don't get points for those, but some characters do. So in this case, I get a point for the ones that don't have a dot. So I just have 1 here, that one. Okay, so I had 5 plus, that's 6. And now we will look at anything I have out on the hex system. So let's look for orbitals. I have 2 orbitals here. They're each worth 2 points. That's 4, so that's 10. The sector is worth 3, that's 13. I don't have an orbital there. I have a cube, but that's not worth anything unless it was built. And no more orbitals, but I do have 3 cubes on my planet, resource cubes. They're each worth 3 points, so 13 plus 3 is 16. Will be my total score for this game. All right, so let's look for Dr. Cringy now. He's got 3 for a Tau. All right, and no materials and no energy there.
But I do have 7, 8 there.
8, okay, so
3.
8 plus 3 is 11. And we'll look at his cards. Well, let's first look at his character. He gets a point for each galactic point with a dot above it. All right, so
I got 11, 12, 13, and 14.
14, all right.
As far as orbitals, this one's worth 3. That's 17. This is worth 2. That's 19. And I have one over here, 21. 22, 23, 24.
24, excellent. So Dr. Cringy wins the game.
Yes,
and is
sir.
the new leader of the Tau Ceti Authority. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so there might be a few concepts that we didn't explain in this game. And if we missed anything, I do apologize. Please just send us a request and we will do our best to get a video and explain the mechanics to you. There is one thing I do know of that we did not talk about are the diplomacy cards. And basically, when you get one of these, you may take 2 specialist cards instead of 1 when taking a recruit action. And basically how you get these is you would take a minor action of assist. So let's just say, well, my comparative advantage is military, okay? So if there was a crisis, let's say on Dr. Cringy's planet, that was affecting military. Let's just say there was a geophysical crisis and it was affecting military on his planet. Well, since I have a comparative advantage in military, if I have resource cubes on my planet, I could travel from my planet. I'll pick up a resource cube as a minor action of assist, place it in my cargo hold, and then I would move to Dr. Cringy's planet and drop off that military resource cube on his planet. Now, it doesn't get rid of the crisis, but it's a way of assisting him in a time of need when military is being exploited on his planet. So, in doing that, yes, I get rid of 1 galactic point at the end of the game and actually give 1 to Dr. Cringy, but I get the diplomacy card, and I can recruit 2 specialists at a time, and that could be very beneficial in trying to resolve crises if you have more specialists. So I just wanted to talk about that, and like I said, there's probably a few more concepts like the wormhole. We didn't go over the wormhole. You would jump from wormhole to wormhole.
It's in the same sector too.
Exactly, it's considered the same sector. There's a few things we didn't talk about, but like I said, if there's something that you want to see us cover, please just email us, send us a request, and we'll be glad to make a video for you. All right, thanks so much for watching, guys.